Welcome back to another episode of the Animation University. So today what we're going to look at is designing characters for animation. Now in animation there are a few fundamental differences between any other sort of character design, mostly pertaining to the fact that we are looking to have very easily digestible shapes. We need to be able to draw these characters in different angles, different shots, different frames, and probably thousands of times in a production. So to get this consistency, we really need to understand the character. So in this, I'll show you all the way from going from a little reference. I'm gonna harvest the animatable shapes from it, and then I'm gonna turn it into a turnaround. Let's get into it. Alright, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to find myself a nice reference. I'm going to use this monkey from the logo that I've already created. And I'm going to go in there and I'm going to find the animatable shapes. I can see some spheres. I can see this weird bean for the torso, a couple other spheres and some sausage feet. And then I join them up, grab a few details, but mostly I'm just kind of like nutting out the animatable shapes. Now this character hasn't got definable elbows or knees. It's more of a rubber arm kind of character, so I'm keeping that in mind and I'm kind of separating these different parts with different colors. I'll use this now as a template to create the rest of my characters. So I'm now going to go ahead and line all of these shapes up so they're consistent across the board. It doesn't matter if I trace my old stuff at all. I can just go ahead and use that, but I'm going to create myself right now a profile view of this character based on the shapes and lining them up to make sure that they're all at the same consistency. In doing this, I can create a character that is absolutely the same on all sides. So there goes my profile picture. I'm going to start on the 3/4 now. And a 3/4 shot, now you have to make sure it's dead 3/4. This is the 3/4 back shot. You can grab the head. If I've used a nice easy character, so I can just basically copy and paste that head over. So now I'm copying the pose. I'm copying all of the shapes exactly the same as they were. And I want to make this thing, so it reads in this as the same character no matter which way you look at it. I'm making sure all the top of the head's lining up. I'm making sure the arms are lining up. And now I'm going to go to the 3/4. So the 3/4 shot is very difficult, usually the hardest one, because it's taking into account the profile and the front view of the character. Thankfully, this character from the reference was already pretty much in a 3/4 view. All I had to do now is basically replicate that in the same pose as the others. Now, I'm not enjoying the fact that I've put the hand up. I don't think that's a very good neutral pose. What we want when we're designing a character, especially initially, is we want to make this as neutral as possible. We don't want to add too much of a pose to the character. So just having the hands on the ground is plenty good. And I will kind of chip away at it, make sure that it's all consistent before I start moving on. All right, so I'm grabbing the head again, drawing myself a center line because the front view is basically going to be symmetrical. So, and now I'm just adding the different shapes in, the different details, and you can notice that I'm working quite loose here. I'm only working very rough, and the reason is because I'm going to go over it again. I'm just trying to make sure that it works. And a nice little trick when you do the back view is you can actually just use the front view and remove a lot of the details. It's going to look the same from the front to the back. You just got to take into account that it's a different perspective. So the feet are facing the other way, and etc. So now I have these. I like to go ahead and create another layer on top of that, and then I'll start working on cleaning these characters up. So this is where I really think about the details and try and be as a little bit cleaner than I was in the first pass. Get myself a nice brush and then start carving out the clean version of the drawings that I've already done. Now, working from rough to clean in animation is very common practice. In fact, it's almost universally recognized because you really don't know what it's going to look like until you do it. So here I'm going to start with the head. I'm going to do the turnaround of the head. I think that's always a good way to do to start. So I know that this animatable shape here that I have for the head is simply a circle. So I'm spinning that around. I'm making sure that the character is going to be able to work as it turns. Then I'll go through, I'll do a few little rough, kind of just understanding where the movement, where these lines are going to go. Checking as I go, always check. You can really start to see when things start to pop if you're animating them turn around. And it becomes very apparent that you may have gotten something a little bit off, or something's not quite right. So that's looking pretty good. I'm just making sure that that profile, the muzzle of the monkey has been consistent the whole way around. Getting those ears to rotate on the same spot and hold the same 3D shape around. And that's starting to look pretty damn good. So I'll clean it up. Not going too crazy with the cleanup. I just want to rough this out for you guys. I don't want to spend too much time mucking around making it look perfect. We're looking for beautiful shapes. Sorry, ugly shapes looking, ugly drawings moving beautifully. That is the plan. So you see now the monkey's starting to take a little bit of character, starting to take form. Even if it's just the head, I think that the head is a great place to kind of isolate, because you can just drag and drop that into the finishing turnaround. Check as you go, make sure nothing's popping. Make sure everything lines up and is consistent. I've picked intentionally a very easy character to draw, so I'm not breaking any miraculous design fundamentals here, but it is it's a good place to kind of cut your teeth on a simple character like this. Turnarounds are actually, they're kind of complicated, so you want to limit the noise that you're going to have to deal with later on. Now that's looking quite good. I'm happy with that. Yep, looking great. So now I will go ahead and make sure that these things are lining up. If I see anything wrong, I'll go through and I'll change it. Self-correct, make sure that everything is how it should be. If you're using copy and paste, remember that some elements of the character won't be the same on the other side, or they'll be inconsistent on the other side. So now I'm just going to go ahead and trace these bodies. So I've already roughed them. I know exactly what to do. It's just a matter of really cleaning it up a tiny bit and making sure that they're on different layers as I go. That's very important. At this point, I'm doing another check for how everything kind of fits together properly. I'm making sure that these shapes are consistent. See there, I saw the back was too. I see that the back was too low on that frame, so I'm constantly checking and making sure that everything's lining up. Revising my sketch side, and each time you do that, it's going to get a little bit cleaner and a little bit more consistent each time. So now it's just a matter. I'm going to keep the head separate. I'm going to copy and paste that again, but now all I've basically got to do is grab, because I've already drawn these on different layers, I grab my head, I put that kind of lined up where it should be, and then I go through and I grab the bodies and I line them up. Have the body spinning around basically on the back heels of the character. You don't want it in the center of the dead center of the character. So it's going to be spinning around on the heels of the character, almost like it's on a record player rather than just spinning. That way you can really see it moving in 3D space rather than just kind of a 2D spinning object. Now I line these all up. Looking good. And there we go. We have a spinning monkey, which is fairly consistent. And you can go ahead now and like, this is where I would go and I would chip away at it, make sure that it's all properly working, because this is where you really start to see the popping of the elements of the body. And if you really want, you can go ahead and add other elements such as a tail. I will rough these in now. Just using a ball and on a string basically, and I'll flesh that out afterwards. And once I'm happy with it, give it a playback, and there you go. Flesh the tail out. Kind of using that ball as a bit of a rubric for the volume of the tail. And there you go, spinning monkey. Well, that's all we have time for today. Thank you very much for coming. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I hope your characters are going to be even better than before. Please hit like and subscribe, and we'll see you again next time on the Animation University. Cheers, guys.